finale of Watchmen on HBO was last night, and I think they should stop here. So there definitely was a lot to love about the finale. There was a lot not to love, of course. I feel like certain plot threads were closed up very nicely. I think others were just a bit too rushed to really be enjoyed, but I guess you could say the same out of the Watchmen graphic novel and the chapters they released to close out a story about the world ending. Mirror Guy living, I was so happy about that. I knew he probably escaped, but I was so worried when all of the members of the 7th Cavalry showed up at his house and started to pew-pew, you know. So I'm really happy he lived. I think Will got the best ending possible. One, the turnout that he was actually Hood of Justice still is amazing to me, and I love that in the end he did take down Cyclops and all the leadership, and he re-established himself with his family. I just feel like in the end the guy got the best ending and best character arc possible, and seeing his ending in the finale was fantastic. And I know it was kind of a bit of a throwaway line, maybe to some, but when he said that he always thought it was anger, but instead it was fear and hurt, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that's where a lot of violence comes from. Fear and hurt. Anger too, of course, but it starts as fear and hurt, and it grows. So I know that they didn't spend a lot of time talking about it necessarily in this finale, but it was still a pretty powerful line, I think. I know Dr. Manhattan is dead, but I actually feel like this was one of the happier endings for him, which I know sounds really weird. He died super painfully, but think about how he became Dr. Manhattan. He was in love with this woman, Janie, and he was telling her, please stay with me, as he was so terrified, and he knew he was about to die, and she left him and just couldn't do it. And then he was going to die again, and Angela wouldn't leave him, even when this time he's saying, you need to go. And she said, no, I'm staying here with you. Think about how much that means to John, that Angela stayed there with him to the very end, even though this time it could potentially kill her. So, to me, John, you finally picked right. Nothing against Laurie, but you finally found a super great partner that stayed with you no matter what. As with Angela, in the end, I realize I'm jumping around quite a bit. I think Angela definitely has Dr. Manhattan's powers, and she can basically bring back her husband, Cal, now, because she has all these abilities, so it's kind of an absolute win for her. She can basically bring back everything that she lost. So I realize it would be interesting to see another season with her with these powers, but I think we should stop here. I think this is a really good ending for this what if, or what could possibly be the future 30 years from the Watchmen graphic novel, which, by the way, if you're pissed about this, know that this isn't them definitively saying this is what happens in 30 years. This is just a potential or their take on it. I'm so happy Adrian finally got his comeuppance. I mean, it took a really long time, but eventually he needed to be held accountable, and I'm really happy that Laurie said, you know, people change, and finally the ends didn't justify the means to her anymore, and she had those 30 years to really think about what Adrian did, and her just allowing that to go forward as a secret. I kind of like that Lady True left Adrian as a statue in her little solar garden or whatever until she wanted to thaw him out, so to say, so he could watch her final accomplishment of her becoming a god, because honestly, he's the smartest man in the world. Why would you bring him out of stasis before that moment? Because he might fuck up your plans, which, you know, with the help of Dr. Manhattan, he did. So she kind of made a good call on that, but really probably should not have. It was just her ego narcissist comes from her dad of wanting to have her parents see her big accomplishment. I think it's kind of funny how many I'm related to you reveals we had in this season, and I'm still kind of iffy on it, but I'm okay with the reveal that she was Adrian's child because of what her mom did. Speaking of that, beyond, her mom, she cloned, that little girl is gonna be so fucked up. She has all these memories of being her mother now, and now her daughter is dead, and she doesn't have any more family, so what? I mean, I guess you could say from the perspective of she has all these memories, and she was educated very well by her daughter, and had the best start, so maybe even having those adult memories and experiences, she can make better choices going forward, and she's already way ahead most people, and maybe she inherits all her daughter's money because she was posing as Lady True's daughter. Gets kind of weird. I mean, also think about it, how many of us wish that in our youth we had the experience and knowledge we have now as an adult? Oh, and by the way, that they pretty much 100% got Dr. Manhattan's panties from the graphic novel correct in the finale was absolutely amazing, and I loved it. Also, Keen's statement, I'm about to become a god, putting my dick in everyone's face kind of seems a little much, right? I guess I am a little disappointed how quickly Lady True's story ended. I feel like there could have been a lot more for it, and I think that was rushed, but I think they wanted to really mirror the pace of the graphic novel, and that's why they did it, but I know there is a thing with stretching out story and putting a lot of filler, and this definitely wasn't that type of show. It was, they had a story, they wanted to tell it, they boom, 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 but I think they could have slowed down just a little bit. Now, as for season 2, there are definitely things they could explore. We could see what's going on with Dan, but I don't think we really need to. I think we all kind of figured out what happened between him and Laurie, that they didn't really work out. At least that's what the showrunner said. He never imagined Dan and Laurie lasting much longer together, and that was just something that happened. We know Dan is in prison because he didn't want to go along with the FBI, so they locked him up, and Laurie started working for the FBI. I guess we could explore more of Angela's powers now, having the abilities of Dr. Manhattan and what she does with it, but I just don't think it's necessary. I am kind of interested in a lot of people criticizing Dr. Manhattan for not doing more, and that he had so much ability. Why didn't he try to help the world more? And I definitely think Angela, since she is a human being given the powers without, I think, having everything that goes along with being Dr. Manhattan, so experiencing all of time at once and just messing with your brain, I think maybe she is going to be able to do a lot more. Angela just seems like the type of person that is going to do the right thing and not be consumed by power, and I know we like to say absolute power corrupts absolutely, but I don't think that's the way she's going to go. She's like that rare soul that can handle power without becoming a total douchebag. Also, I hope her and her grandfather end up hanging out quite a bit, though, and this sounds really mean, I have a feeling now that he's completed his life's purpose and taken down Cyclops that he'll probably pass pretty soon. And if you're saying that's me just being mean statistically, it's true that that sort of thing happens, so just not me. It's science. So, I don't know, you can let me know what you thought about the final episode of Watchmen, and if you liked the entire series. I might do a video on whether I liked the entire series, but I'm not quite sure yet. I'm gonna have to think about it a little bit more, but let me know what you thought about the finale, and like, subscribe, and come back for more videos.